He wore dirty clothes, with traces of unpainted paint still on his face, and actually barged into the interview for a job with an annual salary of $1 million. The supervisor who recommended him was stunned on the spot. The company's boss looked at him with disgust, unwilling to even glance at the man's resume. The man didn't apologize for his sloppy appearance. He looked at everyone sincerely and said, "I was detained overnight last night for failing to pay a traffic fine, so I didn't have time to change my clothes." Hearing this, the boss's expression turned even colder, and he casually threw out a tricky question. If someone came to an interview without even wearing a shirt, what would you think?
He must have had on some really nice pants.
This humorous answer amused the boss, and he passed the interview. But a bigger challenge lay ahead. There was no salary during the internship. How was he going to support his family? After thinking hard for a long time, he still didn't want to give up this opportunity. The next day, he started the internship. The company's requirements were extremely strict. Only 1 out of 20 interns would be kept. He arrived earliest every day, and had to complete 9 hours of work in just 6 hours. Also, he could pick up his child from school 3 hours early. The manager gave him a hard time at every turn, only assigning him errands like fetching coffee every day. But he never complained. One day, when he called an important client, the client demanded that he arrive at the office within 20 minutes. He rushed out immediately but ran into that difficult manager again, who forced him to park his car first. By the time he finished everything and arrived, he was already late. Misfortune never comes alone. The last piece of equipment was broken, and no one bought it. The father and son couldn't afford the rent and were even kicked out by the landlord. After ending up on the streets, they took refuge in a public restroom. That night, as they sheltered there, someone knocked on the door. The father covered his son's ear with one hand, and braced his foot against the door. This tough man finally broke down and cried at that moment. The next day, he went to work as usual. After work, he took his son to the shelter. Late at night, he put the boy to sleep and stayed up alone to repair the equipment, reading by the faint light from the window. By day he worked furiously, racing to secure a bed at the shelter each evening. He buried himself in hard study and finally faced the crucial exam, finishing the test quickly and handing it in. Just as he was about to leave the company, the boss stopped him. "Lend me $5 for a taxi." The man hesitated. $5 meant nothing to most people, but to him, it was a treasure. He still handed over the money, then went to the hospital to sell his blood, using the proceeds to buy equipment and light bulbs. That night, the long broken machine finally emitted light, piercing through the darkness of the shelter. Soon, he sold the equipment, alleviating the crisis, and moved into a hotel. On the last day of the internship, only 1 out of the 20 interns would be retained. No matter the outcome, he had persevered until the end. When summoned to the manager's office, he nervously took off his glasses, straightened his jacket, and walked into the room. To ease the tension, he cracked a joke.
I thought I'd wear a shirt today, being the last day and all.
Wear one tomorrow, though, okay? Because tomorrow's going to be your first day. If you'd like to work here as a broker. Would you like that, Chris?
All his perseverance and suffering were finally rewarded in that moment. Overwhelmed, he stepped outside the firm and clapped for himself through tears in the crowded street.